You're watching Talking About Orcs. In this episode of Talking About Orcs, we're going to be going over the Tankbustas. The Tankbusters are the second elite unit that runs in at 15 points per model. And each model is equipped with a rocket launcher and Tankbuster bombs by default. Tankbuster bombs are essentially strength 5 melta-bombs. So in assault, they're grenades that give you 5 plus 2d6 armor penetration. In addition, you can swap out up to 2 models. You can swap their rocket launchers for tank hammers, which tank hammers are weapons, two-handed weapons that give you strength 10 in assault. Those are not limited to vehicles, but they're strength 10 in assault, period. Now, I like Tankbusters because unlike the other elite units, the Tankbusters are the only one that have access to a knob and a boss pole. So leadership is nowhere near as much of an issue with Tankbusters as they are with lootas or burner boys. In addition to the knob upgrade, you can also take what's called a bomb squig. A bomb squig is basically a shooting attack that's an auto hit at up to 18 inches, strength 8, which has a 1 in 6 chance of hitting your own vehicles instead of the enemy vehicles. Bomb squigs have a lot of really cool rules, like they don't have to be sent against the same unit, same target the rest of the unit's shooting at. They're auto hit, ignoring all intervening terrain. So they're really cool. Of course, unfortunately though, you are limited to 3 at 5 points each. The knob can take the standard knob upgrades, which includes Big Choppas and Power Claw. Me, personally, the only upgrade I give the knob is the boss pole. I've run Tankbusters quite a bit. I use Tankbusters as anti-tank whenever I'm not playing lootas. I would never take Tankbusters and lootas at the same time, because instead of these guys, I'd rather just take more lootas. So they're really good in a much more mobile army, less gunline, more movement. And I usually put them in a transport, a battle wagon. The battle wagon usually equipped with a kill cannon, so that gives me a whole lot of AP3 loving for those nice marine armies. Now, the downside to the Tankbusters is, of course, the Glory Hog rule. The Glory Hog rule is misplayed by a lot of people, so make sure you get it right. Make sure your opponent understands the Glory Hog rule. The Glory Hog rule states that if the Tankbusters can see a tank, or a vehicle I should say, if they can see a vehicle, they can only shoot and assault vehicles. It does not mean they must shoot or assault. It does not mean they must shoot or assault the closest vehicle, and it does not affect their movement whatsoever. Frequently when playing Tankbusters, I've had people try and put speeders or piranhas in front of much more lucrative targets, thinking that the Tankbusters had to shoot at the closest vehicle, and they don't. So make sure that you understand the Glory Hog rule, make sure your opponents understand the Glory Hog rule. Which also means that a lone speeder running around the other side of the table can prevent the Tankbusters from doing anything. So, and because of that, a lot of people don't like Tankbusters. I'm not a huge fan of Tankbusters, but I do play them a lot because I do find them to be quite effective in the anti-tank role when they can get to them. Shooting is okay because you're talking 12, I play them in units of 12, so you're talking between 10 and 12 rocket shots. And even at the lowly BS2, you're still talking several hits. At strength 8, you're probably going to damage something. You add in the auto hit from the bomb squig, which I usually release from the tank hammer guy since he's not shooting anyway. So that gives you 12 strength 8 shots a turn. And if you get into assault with vehicles, then you will wreck them with their melta bombs, with their Tankbuster bombs. Unfortunately, though, I've found that Tankbusters are a prime target, especially if your opponent is running mechanized. If your opponent's not running mechanized, then they're even more of a target, because then they're free to shoot whatever. Against Tyranids, they are monstrous creature killers. Strength 8 shots, especially if they're not taking the armor upgrade. You know, you're talking this one unit can kill a Carnifex a turn without too much trouble. So Tankbusters will be a primary target if you're playing Tyranids. Necrons, if they don't have the monolith on the table, these will be a primary target, because they will kill the Necrons with no possibility of will be back because of their strength 8. And against mechanized armies, well, then you're going to be blowing up a bunch of rhinos and devilfish and wave serpents. And I do mean blowing up a lot of them. Now, when modeling Tankbusters, you don't have to buy the expensive Tankbuster models, because obviously they're just boys with rockets. Most of my Tankbusters are just that. They're just boys carrying rockets from the new boy sprue, and that's it. The only exception to that is the guy with the tank hammer, and then this guy right here with the 2 rocket pistols, because I think it's a really badass model, and I wanted one, so I bought one of each off eBay, because people do buy the boxes and split them up. So that's really all you need. Oh, and of course the bomb squigs are available separately from GW. However, since you can only take 3 in a unit, but they only come in a package of 4. It's like the hot dog bun thing all over again. So you don't have to spend a lot to make Tankbusters. And you even get a Tankbuster bomb within the boy sprue, so you can even give 1 or 2 of them, you know, the Tankbuster bombs if you want. So you really don't have to spend a lot to get this unit modeled up. So, Tankbusters, good? Maybe. Always good? No. They're definitely, however, fun to play and a high priority target for whoever you play against. Give them a try. I like Tankbusters. I play them a lot. I still, however, prefer lootas. Lootas are still better than Tankbusters.